Subscribe now if you're brave enough to keep watching. The night she disappeared was colder than usual, the kind of cold that clings to the skin and makes every breath feel heavier. Claire Donovan was 27, a nurse who'd just finished a late shift at the county hospital. Her drive home always took her past the edge of Hollow Creek Woods, a stretch of forest the locals called the Whispering Path. She usually took the long road around, but that night she didn't. Her roommate later said Claire texted at 11:45 p.m., taking the shortcut, "Be home soon." The woods were quiet under the pale moonlight, a thin fog curling across the trail. She parked her car by the old trailhead, slipped her phone into her jacket pocket, and started walking. What she didn't know was that a motion-activated camera from a nearby house captured her as she stepped into the trees. The time read 11:57 p.m. That was the last time anyone saw her. When she didn't come home, her roommate reported her missing. By morning, the police were combing through Hollow Creek with flashlights and search dogs. Her car was still parked where she'd left it. The driver's door was locked. Her phone lay a few feet off the trail, still recording. The footage lasted 19 minutes. At first, it was just the sound of her footsteps crunching leaves, steady breathing and the occasional rustle of wind. Then the tone shifted. There was whispering, faint at first, like someone humming a lullaby. The sound moved closer, then further away, circling her. Her breathing quickened. The video picked up her voice saying softly, "Who's there?" Then silence. The next sound was a single laugh, a man's laugh, low, distant, and wrong. The camera tilted sharply, as if she'd dropped it. In the faint light, the lens caught the outline of something standing between the trees, tall, motionless, its shape blending with the fog. Then the video gone, and dead. Detective Rowan, leading the case, played the footage over and over, trying to explain the noises. But the final seconds always froze at the same point, the shape in the fog. The longer he stared, the more he realized something unsettling. That shape wasn't facing the camera. It was facing her. That evening, a second search party went in. They followed the trail until the fog grew too thick to see more than a few feet ahead. That's when one of the dogs stopped growling, refusing to move forward. Beneath the fog, there were footprints. Bare feet, but not hers. The team marked the location and turned back. When Rowan checked the GPS log later that night, he noticed something strange. The path they'd taken looped in a perfect circle ending exactly where they began, though no one had turned around. And as he played the last minute of her video again, he noticed something that hadn't been there before, a faint reflection in the lens, just behind Claire's shoulder. It was her own face. But her mouth was open, whispering something that wasn't caught by the microphone. And then, in the final frame, her reflection smiled. By the second night, Hollow Creek had changed. What was once a quiet stretch of woodland now felt suffocating, alive in a way that made even the most seasoned officers uneasy. Detective Rowan stood near the trailhead, watching his breath fog in the cold air as Deputy Harris unloaded the equipment drones, thermal cameras, body cams. None of it mattered, he thought. Technology couldn't explain what they were about to walk into. The search team pushed deeper into the woods just after midnight. The fog was thicker than before, swallowing the light from their flashlights after only a few feet. Radio signals cut in and out, their words breaking into static. Every few minutes, the trees seemed to move closer, the path narrowing. They reached the spot where Claire's phone had been found, still marked by yellow tape fluttering softly in the night breeze. "Copy this down," Rowan said, his voice low. "Check the soil pattern. Something about these footprints doesn't make sense. They weren't just bare, they were small, uneven, and facing in two directions, as if someone had walked forward and backward over the same ground at once." Harris crouched to take photos, but when the flash went off, they both froze. The camera had captured more than the ground. In the edge of the frame, faint but visible, stood a figure among the trees, a woman, head tilted, hair damp with mist. "Rowan," Harris whispered. "That's her," but when they turned, there was nothing there, only fog. By dawn, half the team refused to continue. The official report listed visibility concerns, but the truth was simpler fear. The few who stayed began analyzing the recovered video again. An expert in audio enhancement joined them, isolating the background noise from Claire's final recording. The whisper wasn't random. It was words four, repeated again and again in a hollow voice. "Don't follow the lights." That night, Rowan returned to the woods alone. He had to see it for himself. He parked near the trailhead, left his radio on, and stepped into the mist with only his flashlight. The silence was unnatural. No insects, no wind, only the crunch of his boots on wet leaves. Then, ahead of him, something flickered. A dim blue glow between the trees, pulsing faintly. He thought of Claire's recording the faint reflections, the impossible sounds, and yet his legs moved forward on their own. The light drifted away from him, slow and deliberate, as if guiding him deeper into the woods. Every time he thought he was catching up, it slipped further into the fog. Then he saw another, and another, a trail of them winding through the trees. "Claire!" he called out, voice cracking. A whisper came back. "Don't follow the lights." He spun around, but there was no one there. The radio at his belt hissed softly, the static rising like a breath. Then a woman's voice came through. "Detective Rowan," it said. "You shouldn't have come back." It was Claire's voice. The flashlight flickered, and for a split second the fog around him moved like something shifting just outside his vision. His knees weakened as he realized what the sound was. Footsteps, many of them. Slow, deliberate, circling closer. He raised his light, sweeping it through the mist. Dozens of faint shapes stood between the trees, silhouettes of people, unmoving, their faces hidden in shadow. The blue lights hovered above them, pulsing in rhythm with something like breathing, and then they all whispered in unison his name. The flashlight dropped. The radio went silent. And when the backup team arrived at dawn, Rowan's car was still there, engine cold. But there was no sign of him on the trail, only his flashlight left upright in the mud, still on, pointing toward the woods. By the third day, Hollow Creek Woods was closed off to the public. The sheriff's department listed the area as a restricted investigation site, though no one outside law enforcement knew why. Inside the small incident command tent, Deputy Harris watched the last footage recorded from Detective Rowan's body camera. The video was blurry, distorted by interference, but one thing was unmistakable. the lights. Blue, faint, and pulsing like a heartbeat. Rowan's voice was steady at first, describing what he saw. Then it broke into panic. The last 30 seconds were chaos static, heavy breathing, and then, just before the camera dropped, his whisper, "Don't follow the lights." When the feed ended, Harris noticed something strange in the reflection of the officer's badge, a faint outline of a figure standing directly behind Rowan, its eyes glowing faintly blue. He paused the frame, zoomed in, and realized the figure's face looked disturbingly familiar. It was Claire Donovan. The next night, Harris went back into the woods against every order to stay out. He wasn't there for investigation. He was there for answers. The fog met him like a wall, cold and heavy. His radio went dead almost instantly. He followed the same trail until the ground turned soft, and he saw the first glow in the distance, one blue light flickering through the trees. He whispered to himself, "Don't follow them," but his feet moved anyway. Each step brought him closer to the glow. Then he heard it, the lullaby from Claire's recording. Low, distorted, but unmistakably human. The trees thinned into a clearing, and there they were, hundreds of lights hovering just above the ground, swaying gently in the mist. The air shimmered with something electric, and beneath it all, he could hear voices whispering over each other, overlapping like echoes. At the center of the clearing stood a woman. Her back was turned, hair hanging wet over her shoulders. She looked exactly like Claire. "Claire," Harris said, his voice trembling. The woman tilted her head slightly, but didn't turn. "You shouldn't have followed them," she whispered. He froze. Her voice came from the trees, not her mouth. Then she turned. Her face was pale, her eyes glowing the same soft blue as the lights. For a split second, her expression softened. "You can still leave," she said. "But once you see them, they never stop following." The ground beneath his feet shifted, damp earth sinking, swallowing his boots. He fell forward, catching himself on the roots. The lights above him began to dim one by one, until only a single glow remained. It hovered inches from his face. Inside it, faintly visible, was an eye watching him. Then everything went dark. The next morning, rescue teams found Harris lying at the trail entrance, unconscious but alive. When they played back his body cam, the video showed nothing but fog. No lights, no figures, no voices. But at the very end, just as the camera powered off, a reflection appeared in the lens, dozens of blue orbs moving through the trees, heading toward the town. A week later, reports started coming in from nearby houses. People claimed to see faint blue lights outside their windows at night. Others said they heard humming from the woods. The town sealed Hollow Creek permanently, but it didn't matter. The lights had already spread. Claire was never found. Rowan was never found. Harris stopped talking entirely, and every year, on the same night she vanished at exactly 11:57 p.m., the fog rolls down from Hollow Creek again. The trail glows faintly blue, and locals say if you listen closely, you can still hear her voice whispering through the trees, "Don't follow the lights." If this story haunted you, the next one will keep you awake. Hit subscribe if you dare.